Hello and welcome to the Rainy Night Listens podcast. I'm Hailey.
And I'm Wyatt, and this is the podcast that you save for a rainy night instead of a rainy day.
Alrighty. Today we are going to be talking about the Valley of the Headless Men. Have you heard of this before?
No, I have not.
Ooh, you're in for a real doozy then.
Is where people go to lose their heads, or like the Headless Horseman? Do they go there to get their heads back or to get new ones? I'm kidding. This is probably something really sad, and I shouldn't make jokes, but
That, my friend, is just one of the
it's
mysteries.
just one of the mysteries.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy, but we'll get into that.
All right.
You'll have questions answered, and you'll come up with a lot more questions that won't be answered.
Oh, that's the
So
best.
it's one of those fun ones.
It's one of the best.
So, the Nahanni National Park Reserve is located in the Northwest Territories of Canada. It was designated as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1978 because of its beautiful wilderness, canyons, and waterfalls. This reserve is well known for the South Nahanni River that runs the length of it, and along this river there are 4 main canyons that are named the First Canyon, Second Canyon, Third Canyon, and Fourth Canyon.
That is very well done.
Right? Like, I feel like they really wanted to make sure it was something that was easy to remember.
Yeah, you could differentiate them very easily, I would say.
Yeah. But so they were called those because people who traveled into or along the river, I guess that they would use those canyons to tell how far into their journey they were.
Okay.
And so they'd be like, oh, sweet, so we're in between the second and third canyon right now, or oh, we're in between the first and second.
Okay.
And so it's just kind of funny that they've got just those names.
First, second. Holy crap, my brain is dead. First canyon, second canyon. That's what I was trying to say.
So it is estimated that humans first began moving into this area between 9 to 10,000 years ago. According to the oral history of the Dene, which are the people from the area, there was a tribe of mountain-dwelling people that they called the Naha that used to raid Dene settlements. And so the story goes that the Dene got tired of them, the Naha people constantly attacking them and raiding them and stealing stuff. And so they got a group together and actually went back into the mountains to fight them.
Oh.
And they found what looked like a settlement of teepees and things like that were all set up. But whenever they got there, it was completely abandoned.
What the heck?
Yeah, there was no sign of the Naha people anywhere. They were just completely gone. And it said that they were never seen again after that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So this area is believed to be a place that houses powerful spirits, some that are good and offer protection, and then some that are evil and seek to cause harm. There was a belief that there was something evil that lived in the canyons, and there were others that guarded hidden treasures.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, these rumors of hidden treasures eventually reached the ears of prospectors.
As they usually do.
As they do.
Yeah.
In 1904, after hearing the tales of promised riches, 2 brothers named Willie and Frank McLeod set out to the Nahanni Valley to strike it rich. These 2 were known to be very skilled outdoorsmen, so they took the long, arduous journey into the wilderness and actually did return with some gold that they had found.
Oh. I wasn't expecting that. Usually it's either they don't make it back or they make it back scarred.
Right?
Yeah, like the Bigfoot one we just did last time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the dude goes in trying to pan for gold or find a lost mine and then comes back with nothing.
It's just like a horror story.
Yeah.
Well, just wait.
Yeah. I'm sure they got greedy and went back or something.
Their first journey was successful, And so they soon began preparations for their next gold expedition. And they set out again in January of 1905, so the following year. They, along with their friend Robert Weir, set out on the long journey back through the Nahanni Valley. And so they were having to travel like hundreds of miles like deep into this valley, like by river and like hiking.
That's crazy.
Like this reserve is huge.
People really were just built different.
Right?
Like I don't understand.
I don't know. It's crazy. So they set out on their journey, and then as time went on, people started worrying about the group because they hadn't heard from them, they hadn't seen them, months were passing, and there was no sign of them. But they would just kind of like tell themselves that like these kinds of trips could take multiple months and sometimes even years.
Mm-hmm.
But after almost 3 years, Charlie, the McLeod's other brother, got a search party together to go look for the missing men. As they traveled along the river, they eventually found the campsite and made a grisly discovery. On the ground, with an arm outstretched for a rifle that was sitting nearby, was the skeletal remains of one of the McLeod brothers. And then not far away from him, the other McLeod brother was discovered lying partially in a tent with a blanket covering a portion of his body, and both sets of remains were missing their heads.
Oh my gosh.
And then the third man, Robert Weir, was never found and was never seen again.
So I'm guessing the first theory is that he killed the other two when they found gold.
Yep, so it's debated on what happened to the brothers. Some people think that Robert Weir murdered them and took off with the gold because none was found at the campsite. Some people think that they were attacked by the Naha people. Like, some people think that the Naha people are, like, were still in the mountains
Even
and
though
were just hiding out.
Even though they had reportedly cleared out beforehand.
Yeah, and hadn't been seen again. Yeah. Some people think that they starved to death. Some people think animals got them. It's just weird that it looked like they were almost like ambushed. Like,
yeah, like
the
he
one
was
is
reaching
laying,
for
like,
his
reaching
gun.
for a rifle.
Yeah.
And the other one's still like halfway in his tent.
It is really weird. Like, it was done quickly, really quickly.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like, right? Like, it was fast enough that they were caught off guard.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this would only be one of many stories about mysterious disappearances and deaths within this area. In 1917, a gold prospector named Martin Jorgensen decided he was going to try his luck with the Nahanni
Wait, so
Valley.
how many years later?
So it would have been, because it was from 1905 to 1917, so about 12 years after this had happened.
These two?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was going to try his luck with the Nahanni Valley, and while he was there, he supposedly found gold and sent word back to his partners and family to let them know that he had made it rich.
Oh.
And so Martin went to work, built a cabin that he could stay in, since he knew he was going to be there for quite a while, like, because he had found all of this gold. Well, the next summer, Martin's partners set out to meet Martin and to help him get the gold to bring it back into town. And they headed towards the area where Martin had told them to meet him. They waited. Martin never showed up, so they decided to go looking for him because they weren't sure where he, like, what had happened to him.
Yeah.
Well, they got to where Martin's cabin was, or at least what was left of it, because the cabin had been burned to the ground, and they found Martin's remains very close to the cabin, and his head was also missing.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So, on that happy note, we're going to hear Hagen's historical word of the day.
I was not ready for that. Well, now I am ready. What's it going to be?
What's it going to be?
And.
And.
And
It's a very, very solid, well-rounded word.
Holy moly. You heard it here.
You heard it here first.
And so, in 1921 or 1922, I found like different reports of this, told like those 2 years. I don't know which one exactly it was. But it was in either 1921 or 1922. A man named John O'Brien was prospecting for gold in the Nahanni Valley.
Oh, really smart of him.
Yeah, it seems like there definitely weren't any stories or...
Any previous signs or stories that said specifically not to do that.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So, after not being heard from for quite some time, his partner began searching for him and eventually was able to locate his body. However, the position he was found in was incredibly unsettling because he was found in a sitting position holding a book of matches next to the remnants of a campfire. But it was determined that he had frozen to death, but he was just sitting like in an upright position holding a book of matches in front of like
Yeah.
where a fire would have
campfire.
been, and had apparently just frozen to death right there.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. So super weird.
So chances are, it's more than likely not that third guy from the first expedition, right? Because that means he'd have to be like fully living out there by himself
Yeah.
for that many years.
Well, and like it's because like I feel like if those two guys, like the McLeod brothers, were the only two who were like decapitated pretty much and had their gold stolen, that'd be one thing. But like there are quite a few stories of people who are found in that same way whose gold is missing.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know, maybe he went crazy, but like why would
he keep taking the
stay
gold
there?
if he's just living out there?
Yeah.
Why would he stay if he had the gold? And if he was planning on just living out there, why would he steal the gold?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
It's so weird. So a few years later, in 1926, a hunting party braved the wilderness of the Nahanni Valley.
Oh, really smart of them.
Yeah. And one member, a woman named Annie Lafferty, disappeared and no one in the party could locate her. So they sent out search parties, were trying to find her, can't find this lady anywhere. A few months later, a man who was deep in the woods reported that he saw her and she was completely nude and was running on all fours up a nearby mountainside. And he was so afraid of what he had just witnessed that he didn't pursue her and left.
Justified. Fully justified. I don't think I would have either. That's really weird, though, that she was just perfectly fine and normal. And then would just, like, go full feral, like, running on all fours.
Like, running on all fours, like, up a mountain.
That's so weird.
So weird. Then, in 1927, a man who was nicknamed Yukon, and his last name was Fisher, who was a gold prospector and an outlaw, reportedly went to the Nahanni Valley to hide from law enforcement. Eventually, his remains were found close to where the McLeod brothers were found, and he too was discovered with his camp burned down, and his head missing.
Oh.
In 1930.
Sorry, real fast.
No, you're good.
The guy who froze to death right next to his campfire, was he decapitated as well?
No.
Okay, it didn't sound like it. So
no, you're good. So everything I was reading said that he looked like completely normal, almost like he was just like flash frozen, because he was just sitting there holding his matchbook. And so it was like really weird and unsettling.
Yeah, okay. That I was just wondering, because I didn't catch it if you had said it.
Oh. So in 1930, a man by the name of Phil Powers, who was a fur trapper, set out to the Nahanni Valley. He was discovered the following spring in 1931 by some officers, and he was found deceased close to his cabin, which had been burned down, and his head was missing.
It's almost like people just shouldn't go to said valley.
Right?
It's call me crazy, but
Well, you would think that that would be the end of it.
of
But
course
in
not.
1936,
Oh wow, 5 whole years later.
two men by the names of Joe Mulholland and Bill Epler were trapping in the Nahanni Valley. They disappeared and were never seen again. The only trace of them was their cabin that had also been burned down. And while the search was underway for these two men, a different unidentified body was found that had been decapitated.
Just someone unheard
Yeah,
of.
like they don't know who it was.
Huh. Let's see. So who all at that point has gone missing? It was
So
the very first guy, who by this point would be like what, 20 something years older now.
yeah, so from what I was reading, like from 1905 when the two McLeod brothers went missing or were found, but from then to now, there were around like 44 something like that cases of
Oh,
people
okay.
vanishing or being found
Gotcha. So
like this.
it could be completely unrelated then, because a lot of people are just going there.
Yeah, but it's also weird that it's constantly bodies being found without like
Heads.
heads.
And the fact that their stuff is always burned down.
Yeah, like there's consistencies within every story
Yeah.
that make it really weird because I feel like all of them could be explained like one off, you know,
Yeah.
like over that amount of time because this is super rugged wilderness, like super hard to access. But because all of them have these consistencies or have like these weird
Yeah.
things that have happened around it, I feel like that's what makes people think that there's something going on here that's more than just they fell on bad luck or got caught in a storm or something like
Yeah,
that.
because that'd be a crazy amount of coincidences.
Yeah. In 1945, a man's body was discovered in the Nahanni Valley, and he was found decapitated, wrapped in a sleeping bag next to his tent, which had been burned down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so the list of mysterious disappearances and deaths just goes on and on. And there are many strange stories and beliefs that also come from the Nahanni Valley. Like there's a belief that there's an evil spirit that prowls around the Nahanni Valley at night, and its shrieks and wails can be heard echoing throughout the canyons. There are stories of large hairy giants that were said to live in the cave systems within the park, and they would reportedly cook their food in the hot springs in the park and were believed to hunt and eat mountain men who trespassed on their hunting grounds.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess that there's like a huge cave system within the park. Like I was seeing stuff that said that there's like 250 caves that have been like identified, but not all of them have like been explored.
Wow.
Like there's on like the canyon walls, there's caves that go into it that have never been explored because they would be so hard to access and like it would be so dangerous that no one's ever been up there. And so
that makes sense. It's weird to think, but it makes sense.
So in addition to these stories, there were actually quite a few prospectors who came back from the Nahanni Valley that claimed to have found a tropical valley. In these accounts, all of them described similar conditions. They described climbing the tall, icy mountains, and then down below them seeing a green valley that was shrouded in like a really heavy mist. And as they traveled down into the valley, they would have to remove layer after layer of clothing because of how warm it was down there. And it was said that there were hundreds of hot springs in this valley that were fed by rivers of hot water. They reported seeing herds of incredibly fat, like caribou. There were huge flocks of birds everywhere. There were grizzly bears, black bears, and a few of them report seeing either like a white deer or a white moose, which was kind of odd.
Yeah. That's so weird.
Well, Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it would almost like say like, hey, that tribe that disappeared previously, maybe they found there and moved, relocated there.
Yeah.
If it existed, because you'd think it would be recorded by now, if it existed.
Yeah.
But that's all I was saying. Is just if that place did exist, I could see the tribe moving there if it was a lot more steady climate wise and the animals were fatter and stuff.
That's true. If everything's like that healthy, that everything's surviving with no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be smart.
Yeah, for sure. It's just I don't know if there's any more said on it, but I have. It's just weird that one of them would be completely tropical, and the other three would be snowy when it's snowy out.
Yeah.
And so on.
Well, the strangest thing that was repeatedly reported is the discovery of huge round footprints in the stream beds that seemed to look like they had 3 toes on them.
Kind of like elephants.
Yeah.
What the
and
heck?
there were stories that went around within like the hunting groups and the prospecting groups claiming that some hunters returned from the Nahanni Valley with ivory tusks that still had hair and flesh attached to them.
What the heck?
Yeah, so
That makes no sense.
right. And so yeah, like it was across a few different stories that they reported the same thing of seeing either in the stream beds or in like the mountains around it that they would find like these huge round footprints that
More than likely were described as elephant footprints.
Yeah.
And that ivory was found with, tusks and stuff. That's
and
so
they were
weird.
thinking mammoths, mastodons, things like
Okay.
that. And then in addition, there are stories and folklore about there being sightings of neo-dinosaurs and bear dogs.
So it was just an area where it was a little bit more.
It's giving like Jurassic Park vibes.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the period where mammoths existed versus dinosaurs. So,
Yeah.
not to be technical, I think there was like a separate time, right, between the two? Okay. Like,
Oh, it had said the like period of time, but it was like Pliocene or something like that. Don't come for me if I'm wrong on that, but I want to say that that's what I read, was that they were reporting like animals from within that like time period.
gotcha. That's still crazy, though, to think that if it was happening, it was like mammoths almost. Not recent, but semi-recent modern day seeing mammoths
Yeah.
is insane.
And so with the bear dogs, some think that that's where the Wahila legend came from. The Wahila is said to be a huge carnivorous wolf-like animal that is said to measure 4 feet tall at the shoulder,
Holy crap.
and it is said to have pure white fur and to have supernatural powers. But some people think that the Wahila arose after people had encounters with a remnant population of bear dogs in this area.
That makes sense. Because it would fit it almost exactly, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy, though.
Mm-hmm. There are many more legends that surround the Nahanni Valley, and it's super interesting that so many reports and strange disappearances and deaths have all come from the exact same place. It sounds like there's something strange going on, but what exactly happening is still up for debate. Today, the Nahanni Valley is still mainly only accessible by float plane, helicopter, or by a guided expedition paddling the river. In order to visit the park, people are required to make a reservation, and there are some areas that are closed to visitors unless they get a special permit to be able to access it.
Wow.
I feel like I normally at least have an idea of what I think happened whenever it comes to like mysterious deaths or disappearances
Yeah,
and things
like
like
you can
that.
almost formulate an idea from it.
But this one's really weird. Like there's just like a lot of like weird stuff coming out of it that makes it hard for me to feel like I can pinpoint any one thing that I think is happening.
Yeah, it is all over the place. It's like...
Yeah, like there's so much.
Yeah, it's like scary deaths. Okay, scary deaths could be anything, you know? Maybe... Because some animals are weird and develop taste for specific things. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I doubt a population of wolves is chewing people's heads off, but... You know, it's like there have been times where animals will target specific body parts because they prefer like the, you know, meat or nutrients from there specifically. But it's like, how would the tent of all things burned?
Right? Like, why burn down a tent? Like,
yeah, or multiple cabins. It wasn't just one tent. It was a tent and then like 2 or 3 other cabins that burned down.
yeah.
It's so confusing.
Like maybe there's like a rogue person that's out there doing a bunch of weird stuff, like killing these miners and stealing their gold and burning their stuff down, but
they'd be pretty old by then.
it seems like
it'd have to be like a full... I guess they could have been like a teenager when they headed out, but it's hard to imagine not a full-grown man somehow getting the upper hand against 2 other full-grown men who are seasoned at going out and doing stuff like that, and then proceeding to do it for the next like 30 years.
yeah.
And how does it keep finding them? It's not like everyone stops in the same spot.
Well, then you've got the guy who was frozen in like a really weird position. You've got Annie Lafferty, who apparently just went feral.
Yeah,
and
just went crazy.
Yeah, but like there were like stories of people talking about like seeing, which again, and like it's all coming back from the 1900s, you know, like early 1900s, but where they would talk about looking down into like the valleys and stuff at night, and it looked like there were like white figures like moving through the valleys and stuff. And so like it's just, there's so many weird things that people have like reported or like talked about that I don't have an explanation for.
Yeah, because it's like you could try to explain one thing, but there's so many other things that would just debunk it, you know?
Yeah.
Not debunk it, but so many other factors that would just make it not likely.
Yeah.
Like, it would have to be a lot of coincidences to be, like, perfectly explained, I feel like.
I agree. But,
Man.
yeah, so that's all that I've got.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. So, let us know what you guys think, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.